thing for me. I've had periods of time where I'm just like, okay, I want to get in really good shape.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And I'll commit to it for 30 days. And then I'm like, all right, bro, I miss those chicken wings, you know, like, and I'll have like these spurts of back and forth where I'm just eating terrible, then working out. It cannot be healthy. It just cannot be healthy at all. So
No, dude, I'm the exact same way. Like I'll go get my fat boy season on for about 3 months. And then I'm like, step on the scale. I'm like, dang.
yeah.
And I wish like my wife, she would never tell me like, you need to lose some weight. Like if she would say,
Yeah.
if you don't lose 10 pounds, you're sleeping on the couch, I'd be so sad. But she's always like, no, you look great no matter what. Oh, okay. Because when I'm 400 pounds, you're going to be sorry.
Yeah.
I'll prove you. But yeah, no, I'm trying to be on my little kick. I did a carnivore diet from April until I had a mini triathlon in July, end of July. So I did it from that spell. I do it every year.
How was that?
I love it.
Really?
Yeah, dude, because I can eat meat.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I prefer to eat anyway. So if I go to a restaurant, it's a little embarrassing, I guess. Like,
Steak.
yeah. Well, or you go, like, I love a greasy, bar. And so I'll try to get wings. You can get blue cheese too on the carnivore. So wings and blue cheese. You just get like mild or regular sauce. Like you can't get barbecue or teriyaki or anything that has sugar in it. I don't know if that's like officially carnivore, but whatever. And then, or you'll just get like a couple patties with some bacon and cheese on it.
I mean, that sounds so good. But like, I feel like after I have a big steak, I just want to go to sleep. So like, I feel like I'll be tired all the time.
Yeah. So it's the opposite, dude.
Okay.
Because what happens is your body's no longer using carbs for energy. And so now you're just level out the whole time.
Okay.
So I was never having these like ups and downs that I was having, like, if I had a big bowl of pasta, I'm out, But now it was like, you wake up, you're good. You're steady throughout the day. You don't really have the highs anymore though, but you don't have to also have the lows, which is pretty dope. But I don't know. I plan on keep doing it probably every year. Cause this year from April till July, I dropped 18 pounds.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was like, and I enjoy it. Like I really do. Yeah. The only problem is like the snacks. You're not really snacking, dude. You got to cook everything. Yeah. So
I did the paleo diet for a while.
I have no idea what the paleo diet.
So basically, so when I was in the police department, all of the SRT, like the special response team guys, were doing paleo. And I was like, what is that? And the best way they described it to me was when you go to the grocery store, you shop on the outside of the grocery store, not down the aisles, right? Because all that stuff on the outside is, refrigerated or whatever. Yeah. And it's, vegetables, it's meats, it's all that. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. And I mean, it was good. It gets you lean, but again, it's just, you're cooking everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I have a busy schedule. Like, how am I going to meal prep for a week? And
yeah.
But it was fun while it lasted. It made me feel better.
Yeah.
But again, love of food, right? It just kind of takes over.
That's how I like, especially like hot and ready Krispy Kreme donuts, bro. I'll throw those suckers back all day, every day. Well, anyway, I guess let's get rolling. I guess we've been rolling this whole time. So
cool.
Whatever. But let's kick it off with the coffee. This is Buddy Brew coffee. Black Lab. I think it's like a darker roast. Pretty sure. Tastes like a darker roast anyway. But actually that dog right there.
Look at that.
Is the owner's dog.
Oh, cool.
So that was pretty cool. But what we do is at the end we'll review it. But yeah, this is a darker roast. The bag was pretty sick. I feel I'm not a coffee connoisseur. I say this on like every podcast. I'm not a coffee connoisseur. All I know is this bag easy to open or is it hard to open? And this one was easy because it's got the little pull tab.
It looks like a dog bone at the top there too. See that? Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, we'll review it. So far, so good. I mean, I'm taking a couple steps, but this is Buddy Brew Coffee. You can find them at buddybrewcoffee.com, or you can follow their hashtags, I guess. Oh, no, that's an at. Okay. So you can follow them at Buddy Brew Coffee on their social media, or their hashtag is Brew Good.
Okay. It is an interesting bag. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, super cool. But anyway, so this is Ryan Darge. Did I pronounce that right?
Darge. Yeah.
Darge.
Yeah, you could do a little zhit.
These are
fine. Yeah, that's cool.
Ryan Darge.
Yeah.
Okay. With OriginPoint.
Nailed it.
Lender of lenders, they say.
That's kind.
But obviously I'd like to dive into, what you think of rates and all that stuff. First time home buyers, because that's kind of my field. that I work with. So we'll dive into all that. But first, I want to know how you ended up being a lender.
Sure.
Like, I'm sure you were growing up as a kid and you were like, Mom, Dad, I want to lend. This is what I want to do.
It's funny. Any lender you talk to will always say, like, you just kind of end up here. There's no like degree for this or whatever. I mean, you don't need a college degree for it. But for me, growing up, my father, my grandfather, my great grandfather, they were police officers. And so I kind of wanted to follow in their footsteps, but I wanted to take it to another level. My original goal was to be in the FBI or CIA. I wanted to be one of those guys where like you look up their social and they don't exist kind of thing. And so, the first step for that was being, a police officer. And at the time I graduated from Chapel Hill, go Heels, and ended up in Greensboro with my now wife. And I was like, let me take my first step into this, and went through the academy with Greensboro, got on with them. Did that for about a year and a half, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. Very rewarding career, but there's always somebody in the background, like your family. They're like, "Oh, you sure you want to do that? It's dangerous." And my mom was that person for me, right?
Yeah.
And every time I saw her, she's like, "How's work? Are you sure you want to do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And she had just mentioned to me, because at the time she was an office manager for a mortgage company in Charlotte.
Okay.
And she's like, "Why don't you just come in and shadow one of the loan officers and just see if you like it?" Right. And I mean, at the time, I didn't know anything about a mortgage. Yeah. I mean, I was like, okay.
How old were you?
Oh, 23.
Okay.
And, we were living rent free, my now wife and I, in a farmhouse in Liberty, North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah.
You wake up to the chickens in the morning and all that. Just like, it was just kind of a subject I knew nothing about. And I was like, well, why not? Let's just take a shot at it. And drove down there, shadowed a loan officer. And, it was fun. It was just a little bit different than what I'm used to. I'm driving around in a car all day, getting out, walking around, running around, doing whatever we do. And now we're just sitting at a desk. And I was like, Mom, I don't really know if I want to do this. And, I'm young at the time. And as a police officer, you don't do it for the money, right? And
you sure? Because I heard you guys make fat stacks.
Yeah, gosh, they should be paid more. But it was interesting because she was like, okay, well, this is what the loan officer that you're shadowing made last year. And I was like, cool, where do I sign? Right? Because it was such life-changing for me. I was like, okay, well, I feel like I can do anything if I put my mind to it. And so I made that transition, and I shadowed that loan officer for about 6 months just as a junior loan officer. And this was like a call center, like refi shop.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it was hitting the phones all day. Like I'm making 200 calls a day, just bang, bang, bang. Yeah. And, it was a really unique learning experience. It's like nothing else I could describe, right? It's just kind of like that dog eat dog environment. Yeah. We were all in cubicles, but you can hear each other on the phone. It was like very Wolf of Wall Street-esque, right?
Yeah. And did you have to wear a suit or anything, or could you go with whatever you wanted?
Man, I wore Chuck Taylors and jeans. We never saw clients. We were just sitting there in front of the computer, and so did that for about 6 months, and then went out on my own, and that was it after that. So there wasn't like this cool story. It just kind of
that's pretty sick though. What was life like as a cop in Greensboro? Because I would like to say, I just watched the video yesterday on the most dangerous cities in North Carolina.
Greensboro's up there, isn't it?
Yeah. Fayetteville was shockingly number 3. Durham was number 2. Greensboro was number 1.
Yeah. I can vouch for that. It was different, but I was used to it because I grew up with it.
Okay.
And, seeing my dad come home at, early morning hours, and just, what he dealt with every day. I mean, I was young at the time when he was really getting into it. He was NYPD.
Oh, wow.
And so, for me, I grew up with it, so I was used to it. But, it was definitely difficult for my wife because I worked, 4 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And we were in, Florida Street in Greensboro, which is like the worst area of town, with all the housing projects and everything. So it was interesting, man. You always had to look over your shoulder, but for me, I always wanted to give everybody a fair shake, right? I didn't care who you were, where you came from, what your story is, how many felonies you have. I didn't care. You treat people with respect, and they 9 times out of 10 will treat you with respect too. But I will say the world's a little different after 12 p.m. But for me, it was tiring. The rotating hours, it was exhausting. But it was more difficult for her just because, she's trying to sleep at night, and I'm out there working, and she doesn't know what's going on, and we couldn't have done that for 30 years.
Yeah,
and so getting out of it when I did was probably the right move. I didn't know that at the time. I was nervous, but it was the right move at the time.
That's pretty sweet, though.
Yeah.
Do you have any kids?
I do. Yeah.
How many kids you got?
My son, he's the only child. He'll be 4 on the 20th.
Okay, so you didn't have him though when you were being a cop.
No.
So what brought you to OriginPoint?
So prior to OriginPoint, I was with Truist. So I did a lot of mortgage banking, probably 6.5 years of mortgage banking. The latter half of that with Truist. And, I was over on Six Forks Road in that bank branch on the second floor. And just throughout my time at Truist, most of it was in Raleigh because I only moved to Raleigh in 2022.
From Greensboro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So I moved to Raleigh 2022. And
for that I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, please.
For that Truist job?
So when I left the police department, I got on with, that call center refi shop, QC Lending is the name. And then I transitioned to Wells Fargo, and all this was based in Charlotte. So I was living in Liberty in that farmhouse, working in Charlotte.
Okay.
So the commute was a lot, right? And I just, at some point I was like, look, I need to be closer to home. I can't be driving to Charlotte every day. It's an hour and a half one way. It was miserable. And so I just got a call from one of the managers at Truist, and he said, hey, we'd love to have you up here in Greensboro. You want to transition from Wells Fargo to Truist, we'll put you on the same builder accounts that I was on with Wells Fargo. Like, just come work for us. So I did, to be closer to home. And then we just decided, kind of right when my son was born, hey, we need to get to Raleigh, right? Because my in-laws live there, and we needed some help. We were both working full time, and he was obviously just born, and so we moved up to Raleigh. So I transferred from Truist in Greensboro to Truist in Raleigh.
Gotcha.
And
what does your wife do?
She rides horses professionally.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 2 completely different walks of life.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So how'd she? I mean, I'm not sitting here with your wife, but how did she get into that?
So
I mean, that's wild. I've never met anybody that does that. I mean, I went to high school with some kids that were like the equestrian kids, but never like
the equestrian kids. That's great.
never knew anybody that like actually did it professionally.
She's been doing it since she's 3 years old, not professionally, of course, but she's been riding horses since she was 3. Her older sister was the first one to kind of get into it, and she got into it when she's 3, started riding horses, and they lived on a farm for a number of years when she was a little bit older, and they were able to keep their horses there and travel to all these different horse shows, and she turned professional right before I met her, and so she shows her own horses, and she teaches other adults and children how to ride. So she's a trainer as well, and she'll travel with them to different horse shows and train them at the shows when they go and perform. And she used to do it a lot more, of course, prior to our son being born. Now she's actually getting back into it a little bit more, but there was a couple of years there when he was first born where she was very much part-time with him.
Gotcha. Are you pretty good at riding a horse?
I like to think so.
Yeah.
The first time I got on a horse, I did a little, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the lingo, but it's like walk, trot, canter, gallop.
Okay.
So I did the walk, trot, canter, and she was like, get off. And I was like, why? Did I do something wrong? She's like, no, I can't have you being too good at this. And I like my feet being on the ground, so I wasn't going to argue.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
I very rarely do I get on a horse, but I will.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's definitely her world, and I'm just playing along in it.
So. Is she teaching your son how to ride?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting on the ponies now, and
he
really enjoys it. It's just fun for him at this point, something different. And we actually, his birthday party, we're doing a little 4th rodeo. They're bringing some ponies up for all the little kids, and
that's sweet.
Doing pony rides and stuff like that. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Sherlock Holmes?
Mm,
with Robert Downey Jr.?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, if reference wouldn't make sense. But anyway, he's riding a horse. They need to ride horses to get out of this predicament they're in. And he's like, I don't ride horses. And they're like, why? And he's like, because they're dangerous on both ends and crafty in the middle. So it's just this scene of him riding this little pony. It's hilarious.
Awesome.
But no, that's cool, man. So how long have you been with OriginPoint now?
About a year, 4 months, something
Okay.
like that. Yeah. So it's May of 2020. What would that put us at? Yeah, 2024.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So a lot of the clients I have just with my demographic are first-time home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that when I'm talking to them, obviously lending is always the biggest either setback they have or the most daunting thing they feel is what's setting them back from buying a home. What does that pre-approval process look like on your end, and why is it easier than I feel we make it out to be?
Well, everybody loves Google.
Yeah.
And, your first-time home buyers, more often than not, are researching all this information on the internet before they actually talk to a mortgage professional.
Yeah.
And they'll see things like you're required to put 20% down, and they'll read about the income documentation, how much, documentation is required to get the loan, and they get scared, right? And they don't think that they're able to qualify. But as with anything else on the internet, there's a lot of truth and a lot of lies, right?
Yeah.
So, or just, things that you may not be familiar with because you're just reading it on the internet. So our process with pre-approval is actually pretty straightforward, right? I'll, contact or get connected with the client through an agent, and I'll have them fill out our application immediately. Just for one reason or another, it's easier for them to just fill out the application.
And what does that application look like?
It's digital. It's all online. It takes about 20 minutes to fill out, and it runs through everything, right? What's your current address? What do you do for work? How much do you make? What do you have in the bank, right? And it takes about 20 minutes. And the good thing about it is there's soft pull on credit versus hard pull on credit. We do a soft pull, so it doesn't negatively impact their score. It doesn't even show up as an inquiry on their report, but it gives us everything that we need from a credit standpoint to determine if they're able to get it pre-approved or not. So they'll fill out the application, I'll review it, and then we'll have an initial loan consultation where it's a 30-40 minute call, and we'll get on and I just listen to them. My goal is to have them talk as much as possible because I want to align the financing with their goals, right? And everyone's different. Everybody wants to accomplish something different. Everybody has a different down payment situation. Oh, my parents are helping. My parents aren't helping, right? My credit score is 680. My credit score is 800. So it could be a little bit different. And so I listen to them. I have them tell me their story. And then we walk through the application, right? And as we progress through the application and I talk to them about, okay, I'm looking at your income. Here's what I see. Is that accurate? Talk to me about the bonus. Like, it's just step by step. And the way that I do it is very methodical. So that way, by the end of the call, they feel like they know everything they need to know about what it's going to take to get the mortgage. They feel educated and they feel more confident because they've had that conversation, right? It's like, hey, Ryan, I can afford this payment. What purchase price does that put me at? Oh, great question. Put you here, right? And they just leave that conversation just feeling a little bit more empowered, a little bit more ready to take that next step, right? Because we take the time to listen and go through it and make them feel confident. Obviously, depending upon the product or program we're putting them in, there may be a couple of nuances we'll talk to them about, but first-time homebuyers are fun because it's just a blank page, right? And you're just filling their head with so much knowledge and education. And for me, I'm a very relationship-driven loan officer. In the beginning, of course, I was like, transaction, oh my gosh, all right, because it's call center refi, it's very
200 a day,
just go, yeah. But when you slowly start to realize that's not what drives the business. It's the relationships, it's the repeat business, it's clients coming to you for a loan regardless of it's their first time, second time, third time. And it's not client number 1237794, it's John.
Right.
How are the kids? How was the trip to Spain? Whatever, right? It's just a little bit different experience with us, I feel. Whereas nowadays, a lot of your loan officers are transactional, and that scares first-time home buyers. They feel like they're just a number.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because I know just from experience as the realtor side, like first-time home buyers can be some of the toughest clients. They're the most exciting clients because they're so excited to buy their first home, and it's, you know, it's the American dream. It's the goal. It's like, that's what we're here to do. And, but that being said, like you were saying, the Google whole, you know, they Google everything, does make it tough. It's like, with unrealistic expectations and all that stuff. But what do you say to a client that wants to buy a house but is not financially ready to buy a house? How do they prepare? What should they be working on to get to that point?
Great question. So, you know, everyone's different. And so I have them apply regardless. Even if we're on the phone and they say, I'm a year out, but I don't know what I need to do to prepare. The best way for me to be able to direct them is to see where they're at currently. And as much as I want to take what they say over the phone and write it down and believe it as true, I'm not saying I don't believe them, but there's always other things that pop up that you just don't remember when you're talking to somebody.
Right.
So I have them fill out that application, and I wouldn't do that if it was going to be an inquiry on their credit, right? I don't want to do that for no reason, but we have the ability to have that soft pull. So I could look at everything and say, hey, look, you know, you don't have a credit score pulling in right now, right? Maybe we need to look at, you know, getting a credit card or something to help build some credit for 6 months, right? Or, hey, you know, I don't have a down payment, you know, right now. We talk to them about, you know, maybe gift funds from a parent or a grandparent or cousin, or, you know, hey, what are you getting paid? Can we put away this % every single month and get to X, and then you're ready? It's very situationally based, right? Because everyone's at such different points in their lives. But that application is so important. And a lot of times folks will think that we're just being salesy by having them fill out the application. That is not the case at all. It just gives us that snapshot in time of, okay, now I can give you direction, and it has a purpose instead of me just willy-nilly. So, oh, well, if you think your credit's at 620, you know, we may want to get it up a little bit. Don't know how we're going to do it because I can't see anything.
Right.
It just is a little bit more purposeful. If they need some credit repair, we can connect them with a credit repair company. There's so many things that we can do to help them, and we do that for free, right? We don't charge anything for it. It's just, hey, this is what we need to do to get you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I guess it's not really a funny story, kind of is. So this was probably a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, but we wanted to buy our first rental property, and we have our house seller financed. And I have when I was 18, I signed up for this Capital One credit card with $500 limit and forgot about it, never used it. No car payments or anything like that. So we go to buy the house, and I'm like, okay, you know, let's go ahead and put the 20% down. And our lender was like, you don't have any credit, dude. Like, you don't have enough debt to be in more debt. And I'm like, okay, explain that to me, because that sounds a little backwards. And so he was like, basically, they need to know that you can pay your stuff, right? Like, you are a responsible adult. Yes, you have money, but that doesn't mean that you can pay your debts on time when you need to pay them. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, well, what do you recommend? He was like, get another credit card. So we got another credit card, and then he was like, well, do you want to get... At the time, we were like trying to figure out if we wanted a new car or not. And so he was like, well, just get a little lien on that car, just enough that you can just pay it off every month. And he goes, you only have to have it for like 8 months and then pay it off or whatever. So we did that. And so now we're working towards building up our lines of credit, I guess. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah. Get more than just my one $500 limit credit card, because I've always followed the instruction of, which I think is a good principle to some extent, of don't have any debt. But then it's like, okay, you've lived by that, you pay cash for everything, yada yada yada. Bites you on the back end a little bit when you're trying to, you know,
the Dave Ramsey method.
Yeah. What do you think about
that? I think debt can be a good thing if it's used properly, right? You know, a lot of the wealthiest people in the world have good debt. You know, 0%, you know, interest free for 12 months, whatever it is. I mean, you know, there is good debt. And we, you know, to that lender's point, you know, we do want to see, and the credit bureaus want to see that you can use that money responsibly. And I'll tell you from personal experience, I had a credit card that I was paying off every month before the statement hit. And it was looking like I wasn't using it because the statement reports 0.
Yeah.
And then the credit bureau's like, oh, well, they didn't even use it, right? So when I changed that to, not necessarily just paying the minimum, but just paying a chunk towards the balance and leaving a small balance on it, and the statement hitting, my credit score went up 60 points in 8 months.
That's crazy.
Right? Because they want to see that you're using it, you're paying on it, and it's maintaining some sort of small balance. You want to keep your credit utilization down, of course. You don't want to max out your credit card. But they want to see that you're doing that. A car loan, get a loan. Don't pay cash for a car. You drive it off the lot, it depreciates immediately. Right. So, there is good debt. And it does help, show your credit worthiness to a lender.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, do you know Jason Kojak?
Yeah.
So, I did a podcast with him last week, and he dove into this, pretty good. And so I told my wife, I was like, well, I guess we're throwing away the debit cards, and we're just stacking up these credit cards. But no, man, that's good advice, because when he told me that, I was like, what? Dude, I'm putting 20% down, man. Like, it's cool. I promise. I'm going to make these payments. Like, I don't give a frick what you promise, man. But yeah, so anyway, let's go back to the first time homebuyer situation. Let's say they want to buy a house, they have a good credit score, but they don't have any money for down payment. What are kind of their options there?
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely different ways to obtain down payment. There are some products that will allow for 100% financing.
Yeah.
Right. USDA is one of those, where buy a house in a rural area.
Yeah.
Let
me ask you a question on the USDA.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Is it a good program? Because I've had my buyers use USDA, and the seller agents say, we would take your offer, but you're using a USDA. And is there just a stigma around it?
Yes. And it's just because it's a little bit more difficult to qualify for it, because the property has to be in a specific area,
right? For
one, which is easy to figure out.
Yeah.
Right. But, you also are looking at a lot of different guidelines. Like, for example, USDA looks at household income. So if there's 2 of you in the house, but only one of you's on the loan, we have to look at both people and their income combined. And if it's over a certain amount, you don't qualify.
Oh, right? I gotcha.
And then the debt to income ratio is a little bit tighter. And, DTI, for those that don't know, is just a comparison of your monthly debts to your monthly income. There's a percentage there. It's a little bit tighter on USDA. It is a little bit tougher to get that done, but it's a great product, right?
But once you have it secured, does it make a difference on the financing on the actual house that's approved for USDA? And
no, I mean, no. I mean, if you know what you're doing, every loan officer specializes in certain things, right? And I'll be the first one to say USDA is not my specialty, and that's not because I don't know how to do a USDA loan, right? It's just because I don't encounter it a lot, right? We live in the Triangle, right?
Yeah,
there's not a lot of that.
I live in Hardin County, so that's why I get a lot of USDA.
Okay,
yeah,
fair, but it's a great product. It's 100% financing. A lot of people like that. There are also grants that you can get. There are down payment assistance programs. We do have some of that, right? We have some grants. We have some down payment assistance programs. And if for whatever reason, you don't fit into that category just based on credit score or income, because a lot of that assistance stuff is, you have to have X amount or higher credit score and make less than a certain amount of money to get that assistance. If you don't fit into those categories, we obviously do have folks that we work with at other companies that offer different things that we can refer you to as well. And that's we don't mind that, because at the end of the day, we're consumers too. We want people to get into a home,
right?
We can't sit here and claim to be able to do everything, right?
Yeah.
But for those first-time home buyers that are struggling with down payment, there are a lot of avenues to assist with that. You can ask for a gift. I know not everybody has money sitting around. That's not what I'm saying, but gifts are very common nowadays, more often now than ever before. Grandma's giving money, cousin Jimmy's giving money, whatever it is, that can help as well. So
we see a lot of co-signers.
Not really. I mean, every now and then you might get a couple. I might do 2 or 3 a year where there's a co-signer.
Okay.
Right?
But does that help big time or not really? Is that why you just don't?
It can. I mean, if they're bringing, income to the table, yes, because sometimes you'll find a situation where the client themselves maybe doesn't have enough income yet to qualify for the type of house they want,
Right.
but they have good credit,
Right.
and they have a down payment. It's like, hey, do you have somebody that can co-sign with you? Because if they're bringing their income to the table,
Right.
now maybe we can get somewhere with that.
Yeah.
And more often than not, it's a parent of some,
Right.
right. But it happens, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it happens frequently, at least for me. I
Yeah.
can't speak for everybody.
Because I feel like it would probably be a little bit of a parent's one thing, but if you're like co-signing with friend Jimmy, and Jimmy says,
Jimmy's a great guy.
not paying my bills this week or this month,
Yeah.
you're kind of screwed, right? As a co-signer?
Yeah. If if you co-sign for somebody and that person doesn't pay the mortgage, yes, your credit is going to take a hit for that. So it's certainly a risk. And that's why you see family doing that more often than not, because dad's going to call you and be like, did you make that payment this month?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's typically just a means to get into the home, and then maybe their income situation changes, and
then you can drop the co-signer.
Yeah, we refinance them off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the current interest rates, where they're headed, all that good stuff?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
We've had a long period of time where rates were just a lot higher than what most people are used to. They're still historically low.
Yeah,
Okay.
you try to explain that.
Like back in, the day, like when my parents bought their first house, like in the 80s, interest rates were like 18%.
Yeah.
And they were like thinking they got a deal, So it has been kind of a bit of a shock for folks that are, first-time home buyers, really, or maybe move-up buyers, just because they're used to rates being 4.5 or less, right? And especially, a couple years, like during the COVID years, where everybody was refinancing at 2.75. They're used to that,
right?
And so now with these rates being higher, it's just like a shock, right? And it sidelines a lot of people. But we're headed into an environment now where rates are going to be coming down. I just looked yesterday at the projections for rate cuts for the remainder of the year.
Okay.
And the Fed's meeting in September, October, and December. And as of yesterday, there's 100% probability of a rate cut in all three of those months.
Really? And so what determines those?
It's really just listening to Jerome Powell when he talks, and just kind of looking at inflation data, jobs data, all of that really kind of gets wrapped up, and you can look at a big picture and say, okay, right, are we in a position where we need to make housing more affordable for people?
Right.
And we're in a position now where jobs have been overstated for a better part of a year and a half. Last year, the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, they quoted almost 900,000 more jobs that were actually created.
Wow.
Right? So they overstated job creation, not on purpose, right? It's all statistics, it's all reporting. Right. So what that means is our economy is in a much more difficult spot than we thought it was, right? And then, of course, the Fed keeps talking about inflation. They want to have a soft landing at 2%.
Yeah.
Not long ago, inflation was like 8-9%. And now we're down to, high 2% area. And we haven't really seen any cuts.
Yeah.
I personally have felt that the Fed has been behind on rate cuts for about 6 months now. And they're going to have to play catch up. And as of the past couple of months, once again, jobs data was overstated.
Right.
We're starting to see a little bit of movement with inflation, but it's kind of sticky.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, people are maxing out credit cards. They're not able to buy the things they used to buy. It's a tough spot right now. And so there needs to be some relief.
Yeah.
And, recently Powell spoke about, he basically all but said we're cutting rates in September. Right? You can't say that.
Right.
But, and the market started pricing that in. So we're seeing low 6s now.
Yeah.
As opposed to 7%.
Right. And so when you're looking at the rate cuts, the projected rate cuts, and as a consumer looking to buy a house, do you want to wait until it's announced the rate cut? I heard either it was you or Alex talking about this. I thought that was great. You want to wait until you get announcement of the rate cut, or do you want to buy before the announcement of the rate cut with the projection?
I'm going to look into the camera here for a second. Okay. If you wait, it's too late. Right. And I say that because here's the thing. When you see that headline, the rate has already been cut. It's been factored in to the market already.
For how long?
I mean, it's already, like now it's already there. I would say this has been priced in and factored in for the past 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
When Jerome Powell spoke at the Jackson Hole Summit a couple weeks ago, that was really like when things started kind of kicking. Because we had a jobs report before that. We saw that jobs were a little overstated, and then he kind of kicked it into high gear with what he said, and we've started to see this taper. We went from 6.875 to 6.375 in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's already priced in. There was a rate cut, I think maybe a year or two ago. I can't remember the exact month, but the rates were cut and rates actually went up. Right?
Really?
Yeah. So there's no, like, by the time you read the headline, it's already being factored into the market.
Yeah.
And so what happens is everybody's on the sidelines waiting to see that big news headline, and then they see it and they all flood the market. They're like, okay, we can buy now.
Yeah.
Let's go. And they're all fighting over the same inventory, because inventory is not going to change overnight.
Right.
It's loosened a little bit,
right,
but it's not going to change overnight. And that's going to create a lot of people fighting for the same house. Multiple offer situations. You pay more for the same house that you could have bought 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right. Without a multiple offer situation, and maybe got some seller concessions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost counterintuitive. All right. It's not a bad thing to buy when rates are high, because you can't change the price
Right.
you pay for the house.
Right.
But you can change the terms of the loan.
Yeah.
Right.
Not that you have a crystal ball or anything, but where do you see rates kind of going start of next year?
That's a tough question.
And just so you know, everybody, what he says is not gold.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, please don't take this at face value.
What he says about the rates is not gold. Everything else he says is gold.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I think, right now we have FHA, VA, they're in the 5s already. Conventional, it's almost there. If you do an adjustable rate, we can get you in the 5s. Fixed rate still in that low 6 area. I think, we get a couple rate cuts here at the end of the year. I think we start to see rates in the 5s pretty consistently across the board with all products. And depending upon the outlook next year, Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, his term is up in May. So we're going to get a new Fed chair. What does that mean? Right? We don't know. I mean, we think we have an idea that it's going to continue to have a trickle down effect where rates are going to continue to be cut, but we don't really know until it happens.
Yeah.
I don't see, things are cyclical. I don't see rates being at 2.75 ever again, but they could be.
Yeah.
I think somewhere in the 4s is probably reasonable when things really start to settle back down.
Gotcha.
But next year, definitely rates in the 5s. And everything that we've read, the surveys, the studies, they all say, people are surveyed and they say, when the rate hits 5.99, we're coming off the sidelines. So it's about to be mayhem next year.
Yeah. That's why I like what you said earlier. If you can buy a house in Q4 now, gosh, you're just going to get a better deal on a house, man. It's like, if you're selling, you have to sell typically during this time of year. I mean, I guess we're still at Q3, right? But when we get kind of Q3, it's kind of start of it, Q4 for sure. Like, if you're selling during holiday season, you probably have to sell, which means you can probably negotiate a better deal. And if you get a rate at, 6.25, 6.125, whatever, and it does end up dropping down to 4 or 5.5, whatever, like refinance. Right. So it's like, if you could buy now,
do it.
Buy now.
Do it.
But yeah, man, no, the rates are obviously always the main kind of point of topic for most people, and I don't really know why per se. I mean, I get it. Obviously, 1 point adds a lot to your monthly payment, but
people don't really care as much about rate as they do their payment.
Right.
Everyone's very payment driven right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So if you can get them to a comfortable payment range, they'll buy. Smart buyers will buy if they're educated.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to do that, right? The negotiation skills of the agent come into a very big play, because if you can negotiate seller credits,
Right.
we can use that to buy down the rate and get that buyer into a comfortable position on their payment. That's all they care about. It's very payment driven.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's good, man. Yeah, I do think the market's headed in a pretty good spot. So I'm excited about it. And hopefully COVID was a little crazy. I don't think that was a very healthy market.
No, it's wild.
And so hopefully we don't have to go back to that. But I don't know. We'll see. Like, I always try not to predict too much because then I'm like, freaking A, I look like an idiot over here. But other than giving people lots of money, what else are you into? What else do you do?
Giving people lots of money takes up a lot of my day. Obviously, I have my son.
Yeah,
I try my best to spend as much time with him as I possibly can.
for sure.
I'm also trying to teach him what hard work looks like too. So it's a balance, right? And I like to spend time with my family as much as possible. We go to the coast a lot.
Okay.
My in-laws have a house down there, and we like
Nice.
to spend time down there. My son loves it, of course.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, oh my gosh, pool, beach.
Yeah.
Like, look at all this stuff. But as far as personally what I like to do, I like cigars. I like bourbon. I'm a big collector of bourbon.
Okay.
Well, I like sneakers. Big shoe guy.
Big shoe guy.
Big shoe guy. Watch guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interest.
Sense of interest.
Sense of interest. I try to keep it a little bit focused on, things that are manageable.
What is kind of your go-to cigar?
Let's
say, what's your favorite? What's your go-to?
Gosh, man. My favorite is probably a Monte Cristo number 2.
A white label or a
White label.
glass? Okay.
Yeah, a little torpedo.
Yeah.
That's one of my dad's favorite cigars. So,
Okay.
I kind of, I say grew up smoking cigars. Yeah. But like,
I'm out there on the back porch, just puffing with pops.
yeah. I mean, it's just like something that I got into with him. But that would be my favorite. But I like to spread it around a little bit. I do some more, Maduro leaves now. And I just couple that with a nice glass of bourbon. I do I'm in coaching.
Okay.
Have a mortgage coach, and he's big on, earn your Fridays.
Right.
And so he'll do this post on Instagram with a cigar on top of he likes scotch, a cigar on top of his scotch glass that says earn your Fridays. So, I like to do the same thing. Long week of work, nice cigar, little bourbon.
That's the best, dude.
Yeah. It's the best. It just resets you a little bit,
Oh my gosh, dude. It's so good. What kind of bourbon you into?
I like Michter's. I'm a big Michter's guy. I think everyone likes to swing for the Pappies just because it's the name.
Right.
But I don't think it's really anything special. I have one bottle of it, and it's a special occasion type thing.
Yeah.
But I don't really like it. If my go-to would just be like Elijah Craig.
Really? Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
They make private barrel, toasted barrel.
Yeah.
They make everything you could possibly want. Makes a great old fashioned.
Yeah.
So my go-to would be Elijah Craig or Michter's if I'm wanting to step it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'll drink anything once. So people bring stuff over, for tastings, and I'm not a big rye whiskey guy.
Yeah, I'm not either.
It just tastes like a Christmas tree to me. So not really into that kind of thing, but I'll try anything once and see if I like it. And what you find with collecting bourbon is the stuff that you really enjoy and you like is actually like $35 a bottle.
100%.
I
agree totally.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm not as like the hot stuff. Anything over 100, I'm like, golly, this is tough pill to swallow. But
See, I'm the opposite.
okay, so I know a lot of dudes are, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just over here with like my Russells or something, some pansy drink. I don't know. But no, yeah, like my regular is like a Russell's. I like that. The lighter stuff, man. Anything like around like the 85, 90. Oh yeah, baby, that's smooth. Yeah.
I like it to be like syrupy in my mouth. That's kind of like my vibe. I'm like 125.
Yeah.
But it's a little glass.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not getting crazy with it. But,
yeah, that's intense. Yeah, I tried a Wild Turkey 101. It was like a gold, something gold. I don't remember.
Like a rare breed?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, it was like a rare breed gold or something like that. But it was really good.
Okay.
And that was like on the, hotter side. Mm-hmm. But like obviously like I love Taylor's, and that might be exactly 100 or a little over.
Yes, Taylor?
Do what?
Yeah,
Taylor.
Yeah.
And then Blanton's is like a 90.
Mm-hmm.
But I prefer Taylor's over to Blanton's, but
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I like Taylor's, so they have a good single barrel. Blanton's is a sleeper. I'm telling you, everyone's like,
No, okay, don't get me wrong.
Blanton's a sleeper.
I
Yeah.
love Blades, and if you watch the John Wick movie, he drinks Blanton's, which is pretty sick.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, if he's doing it,
Yeah,
let's do
if
it.
he's doing it, it's got to be cool.
Yeah,
And but I mean, those like I'm not spending. You know, I mean, if you can find Bland's, it's not terrible. It's like $80-$90,
Yep.
but you just can't find it. So either you're paying off market 130 or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Taylor's. I mean, Taylor's a little more, but if I can find Eagle Rare, I'll drink that all day.
I got a guy. I can get you set up.
Do you?
Yeah.
Let's go. Get me set up, man.
Greensboro was good to me when I was there.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love some Eagle Rare, stuff like that. But as far as like, so I have my garage set up with some like TV, leather couches and stuff.
Nice.
Have some cigars. Like I'll have my dad was always into cigars, so that's kind of like me and my brothers kind of followed suit in that. And then so he'll come over, we'll watch like a big sports guy, so we'll watch either the Mets or big Penn State guy.
Did you say Mets?
Yeah.
I'm a Yankees fan.
Oh man.
Cut. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's funny. Yeah. So yeah. He's like been a diehard Mets fan his whole life.
Yeah.
So it's just, hey, dad likes the Mets. And when I was a kid, I was like, whatever dad likes, I like.
Of course. Dad's the hero.
Dad's the hero for sure.
Yeah.
And so I've always kind of followed that. And then so anyway, yeah, we'll sit in the garage, have a cigar, bourbon or whatever.
Love it.
But it's the best, dude. It's like makes me happy.
It's the simple things, man.
It is, man.
Yeah.
And so I would probably say I'm more into cigars than bourbon.
Okay.
You know, like we'll keep 5 or 6 bottles of bourbon at the house, but I don't have a collection at all. You know, like my father-in-law's really into bourbon. He's got a wicked collection. But cigars, yeah, like if I can keep my humidor stocked, which is like 50, 60 cigars, there's a good selection there.
Have you had an Island Gym?
No.
If you can find an Island Gym, there's a couple different varieties of them. It doesn't matter which one, just grab one. But Island Gym, you need to try that.
It's a cigar?
It's a cigar. It has a really like radical looking box.
Okay.
Like it was like psychedelic looking.
Yeah.
It's got this dude on the front with this big burly beard, and it's got a different wrapper up top, and then it kind of gets into a little bit more medium, body going down, and then it's got like, I think they call it like a stumpy foot or like the little loose leaf at the bottom. It is a very good cigar.
Really? He makes it. Who's the manufacturer? Do you know?
I have no idea. My dad got a couple boxes of them recently, about a couple months ago, and we just went down to visit. They live outside of Charlotte, and he's like, "Try one of these," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" It was insane.
What kind of wrapper is it? Maduro?
Yeah, it's Maduro at the top.
Okay.
And then it kind of like slowly works its way into, more of like a Connecticut style wrapper. And it's a really interesting blend. It's not harsh. It's more like it's just a fun smoke. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they make a couple of different varieties of it, but they're all good. I could get some more information on it for you, but I actually have one of the old like cigar like boxes in my office at the Compass office on Glenwood that I just put like my stapler and like all that stuff.
That's pretty sick.
But it's pretty neat, man. You should try it.
Yeah, that's cool. When I was 18, I was working a job for a new development company. I left that. I was only with them for like, I don't know, maybe a year, 9 months, something like that. And I was like, I'm going to go get my real estate license, but I needed a job to do while I was doing that. This new cigar, I was living in Clayton, and this new cigar shop opened up. It was called the Cuban Cigar. They turned it into a vape shop since then. But
it's not fun.
No, dude. But their problem was they wanted to mix vape and cigars. I was like,
can't do that.
Can't do it. It's totally different clientele.
Yeah.
Anyway, but when I was there, it was just a cigar lounge. Like, it was sick. And so I started working there, and then the guy who owned it owned like 5 vape shops around, and he wanted to give a cigar lounge a shot. And so I managed it for, I don't know, 6 months, but I was getting my real estate license.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I got really into cigars, like how they're made, where they're made, the origins of all of them. And so that was a really cool experience, like having like, I had the freedom to kind of order whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And so just trying different cigars, figuring out what I like. But it's so funny, like that was 7 years ago, and what I liked then and what I like now are totally different.
Same, man. I mean, there have been some consistencies, but I have really tried to broaden my horizons with both cigars and with bourbon. I failed miserably with bourbon, but like cigars, I mean, you could smoke a new cigar every week.
Oh yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
I enjoy it.
But I also feel like If you like what you like, just smoke it. Relax.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But, so where do you see kind of yourself career-wise going?
Yeah.
Actually, let me backtrack because you said something earlier about earning your Fridays
Mm-hmm.
with your coach.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? I mean, obviously, I know like work hard during the week, but like, what does that really kind of mean for you?
I mean, for me, it's like, I have specific goals that I want to hit during the week, right? Like I track all my activities, how many social media posts I make,
Okay.
how many DMs I send, how many
Social media is
comments.
pretty good, dude. It's funny, man.
I am trying so hard. I mean, I don't have this like super nifty video editing software. Like I try to keep it authentic because I feel like authentic is what works. People can really connect with authenticity.
Yes.
And so I try to just keep it as mellow as I can. And let's be honest, like the mortgage stuff is not like the most like enticing thing to talk about. So I try to sprinkle a little bit of real life in there too. And, but I track all of this, right? My posts, my comments, my DMs, how many calls I make, how many realtors I talk to, how many leads I get, how many pre-approvals I send out. And so this coaching community, like we have specific goals that we want to hit because everyone is always so focused on the outputs, the closings,
right?
How much volume did I do this year? How many clients did I serve? But what they don't realize is the sales inputs is what drives the outputs. So if you start focusing more on how many calls did I make today? How many posts did I make? Then you will see the outputs will just be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah.
And so it's a different way of thinking. And so when I say, or when my coach says earn your Fridays, I got that from him. I take no credit for that.
Well, I'm stealing.
Okay.
Okay.
You could, no credit for that. It's really just like, man, come in Monday morning and just bust your tail all week. Hit those goals, make those dials, get in front of people. Go to coffees, go to lunches, just crush it. So that way on Friday at around 2 or 3 o'clock, you can kind of step out a little bit, right? And go and have a cigar and have a drink and, call your family, catch up with your family, or just call people for no reason other than to say hello.
Yeah.
Right. I think in this business, we get so just driven on getting that next lead and getting that next sale. And how many times do you get a call from a lender where they're just like, Ethan, how's it going?
Yeah.
Like, what you been up to, man? Probably never. Yeah. So this is a relationship business, and the word relationship comes before business, and people forget that. And so I try to spend my Fridays just connecting with people for no other reason than just to say hi and check in. And that's what I do. I'll sit there with my cigar. I'll sit there with my bourbon, and I'll call my dad. I'll call Steve Gunter. I'll call Morgan, and I'll just, hey, what you doing this weekend? What you got going on? Like just catching up. And that's authentic.
That's
right?
cool. Yeah.
And I truly am just trying to connect with them and say hello. Nothing more than that.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by earn your Fridays, man. Take some time. This is a very tough business to be in. It could wear you out. And if you don't take some time to reset and relax, you're going to burn out. And that's why I say just crush it during the week. Give yourself an hour or two on Friday if you can. If you can't, do it on Saturday, right? And just reset.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by that.
And I feel the lending business is such like go, go, go. I mean, like nonstop almost, because you're working with so many more clients than like a realtor would. And how do you find time for your son, your wife, and make time for your family and not always be go, go, go?
It's really difficult. It's something that I'm always working on. I get into positions to where I can actually now kind of sit back and realize like, okay, like I need to shut the laptop for the night. It's so easy. I'm a type A personality. I'm always thinking of ways to improve my business. Always. I mean, I lay in bed at night thinking about it. I think that's a good quality
For sure.
but it could also come with a lot of negative side effects. And I've noticed recently I've had to kind of really put a pause on things at about 7 p.m. and just take the time and spend it with my family. And my wife is really good about kind of like nudging me and being like, hey, can you do that tomorrow?
Yeah.
And that's extremely helpful. It's been difficult because I'm 32. I'm at a point in my career where I am trying to scale dramatically and get to a point where I have a big team that really kind of runs itself, and I can come out and do things like this, right? That's the goal, because then if I can do $100 million a year and work 40 hours a week, that's, to me, that's when I could say I made it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a grind to get there.
Yeah.
And thankfully, my wife is very supportive of that. Another thing my coach says that I took from him, I'm stealing all of his stuff.
Steal stuff.
The two most important relationships in your life are your loan partner and your life partner. So the loan partner, meaning like a sales assistant,
Right.
They can make or break your business. And same thing with your spouse. You know, if you don't have somebody that's supportive of the lifestyle, it could ruin your business, or ruin your personal life.
Right.
And I'm lucky that I don't have that. I have somebody that's very supportive of my career.
Yeah. I think if you're trying to get in a relationship with somebody in sales, you should know that.
It's tough, man.
It's tough.
You're always the one sitting on the beach, answering the phone call. It's stressful, but I've really in the past year learned how to manage it a lot better, I will say.
What about weekends?
Weekends, you know, honestly, if you set yourself up well during the week, the weekends aren't bad. We have Wednesday, I do like a Wednesday power hour where I call all my pre-approved clients.
Okay.
And I just say, hey, you know, weekend's coming up. I want to get you, you know, before Friday, see if you need me to update your pre-approval letter, or, you know, you have any questions, and you can get all that stuff sent out midweek. So that way, you know, when you get to the weekend, you know, maybe they need to update their letter.
Right.
You know, and it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I could do it on my phone.
Yeah.
But you have to set yourself up for success. And you got to think most people are buying at night or on the weekend.
Right.
So that just comes with it.
Yeah.
You know, I will say, like, this weekend I'm out of town. Alex will be covering for me. So there's always coverage. And we try to help each other out as much as possible, so that way we can have that time to spend with the family. But it's the nature of the business, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to hire a weekend help person just to do that.
There you go.
You know what I mean? But it's tough.
There you go. Yeah. I don't know. I do know a few lenders, and they're like crazy busy. And I look at realtors, I like to think we think we're busier than we actually are. Sorry, realtors. We got a big, easy job.
That's hysterical. I love that.
Okay. I might be it's an unpopular opinion amongst realtors, but and not to get bash on us too bad, but it's a pretty easy job. It really is. And it does give us, you know, I always say it's great because it gives us flexibility, because it does, but you are working. So like, you know, I'll tell my wife, we can go to the beach, we can go on a cruise or whatever. I might have to step away for, you know, a little bit here and there, but I can also go whatever, you know, for the most part. I mean, you know, unless there's closing or some big thing that I have to be at. But yeah, what advice would you give to somebody who's looking to get into the lending business?
Give it a year. Like, when you get into the business, give it a year before you decide if you want to stick to it or not. It's hard right now. It's a tough market. Yeah. We all know this. And if you're coming in without relationships, it's going to be difficult. In 2021, there were roughly 420,000 loan officers nationwide in the business. By the end of 2026, there will be 65,000. Okay. Wow. A lot of attrition. Yeah. And that's really just weeding out the folks that were doing it part-time, or those smaller refi shops.
Yeah.
You know, they'll shut their doors, or, you know, whatever, because they can't keep the business coming in. You know, you have to stick it out. My first year was tough, right? Yeah. I shadowed somebody. I barely made any money, and you could say the same for real estate.
Right.
You know, the first year is the hardest, and maybe the first couple.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just stick it out and believe in yourself, man. I'm a big mindset guy. If you can control what's between the ears, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And so you just gotta stick with it. Work your sphere of influence. You know, the first loan that I had was for a family friend. right? You know, talk to your family, talk to your friends. Maybe they know people that need to refi, or maybe they know somebody that's looking to purchase, and just really work that sphere of influence. And I think that will make a huge difference. Whenever I get into a slow point in my career, and thankfully I don't have a lot of those anymore, I always turn back to the sphere of influence, which is much larger now, right? Because I've been doing this for 10 years. But you always can go back to that. It's always the basic, rudimentary calling your sphere of influence that can jumpstart things for you.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my.
What do you think about somebody who wants to get in the business? Like, where do they start? I don't even know how you get to be a learner.
Shadow somebody.
Okay.
Don't take your test and pass it and come in and just start rolling. You will fall flat on your face. You have to work alongside a top producing loan officer, and they're looking for people like that.
Right.
So find somebody that you know that's been in the business, that's doing well, and be their it's called a junior loan officer, right? Help them with the putting the quotes together and learn and be a sponge for a year if you can.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, you're not going to be getting paid tons of money, but you're learning.
Yeah.
That knowledge has value. So I would definitely shadow somebody. That would be the first thing that I would do. Do that for a year and then see where you're at, reassess, and maybe you're ready to step out, maybe you're not. But during that year, learn and also form your own relationships.
Yeah.
Go out and meet some realtors because you're getting paid from that loan officer anyway, right?
Yep.
Whether it's commission or a small salary or whatever. Go out and meet your own realtors, form your own relationships, and have a good foundation for when you take that next step out and do it on your own.
Yeah. So go back to the question I started with was, what's next for you? Where you were trying to go?
Man, for me, I'm like such a big picture guy. So like, you know, I can look ahead 5 years and tell you where I want to be. But I think like literally the next steps for me is to build out a team. Like I said, that runs itself, right? I'm at a point where it's thankfully getting easier for me to bring the business in. And that's what I feel like I'm good at, is talking to people, meeting with agents, going to the coffees, doing the podcast, right? This is fun for me.
Yeah.
Right. I do not like sitting in front of a computer. I just don't.
Yeah.
And I'll do it. I'll do whatever I have to do. But building out a team that's doing all of this behind the scenes stuff for me, so that way I can go out and meet with the homeowners and meet with the agents and really be effective at what I'm good at and what makes me happy.
Yeah.
That's going to make me a better leader. That's going to make me a better loan officer. It's going to make that process smoother for everybody.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, we actually have a new sales assistant starting Monday.
Nice.
So that's exciting. The next step for me would be to kind of have somebody more on the upfront side, maybe helping me with lead intake, and, you know, just getting that process going, and then just kind of building a big team to where I can, you know, do what I love to do.
And you have the flexibility to kind of do that?
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, this has been a big year for me, professionally and personally, but professionally from a volume standpoint in a tough market, I'm having the best year of my career.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Thank you, man. It's been a grind, but I feel like as we start getting into these next couple of months with interest rates coming down, I think it's really going to just kind of have a good kickstart back into what we would consider a sense of normal, right? And I think that's going to help kind of move that along as far as being able to hire more people and build that team. I want to build the team selfishly, of course, because I want to spend more time with my family, but also I just want the process to be better for the clients. And I'm one person. I do feel it's very easy to get a hold of me, but there are times where I'm very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And in those moments, I don't want the service to slip. And so the motivation for me there is to not have those moments, to have the team that's doing that behind the scenes stuff so I can be as effective as I can be with that customer.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
That's the next steps for me.
That's cool, man. I'm excited for you.
I'm excited too.
Yeah. What'd you think of the coffee?
Coffee's good. You know, I drank a lot of coffee when I was in the police department.
Yeah.
I do a fair amount of coffee now. I'm a big Celsius guy.
For sure. Big Celsius guy.
I actually had one before this coffee. So I love the Celsius, but the coffee, man, I've kind of broadened my horizons with the coffee.
Yeah.
I used to be that like foo-foo, like pumpkin spice latte, peppermint mocha, blah, blah, blah. But now I actually really just enjoy like, you know, I'll dabble in some espresso. I'm in New York, man. I don't, you know, I say espresso all the time. Espresso. You know, I'll try a little bit of anything. Flat white is pretty good. This coffee's great. Definitely a little bit robust. And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It just kind of kicks you where
Yeah,
you need
a
to
little
be
bit.
kicked,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you put it?
I'm going to do a Dave Portnoy. I'm going to give a something point.
Yes, that's how I do it.
7-8.
Okay.
7-8.
That's pretty good.
You know,
Yeah.
I drink it again.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not going to like, I don't think I'm going to drive across town to grab a bag. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be more of an 8.5 higher.
Yeah.
Score.
Yeah.
Hey. What you got?
So for a lot of our podcasts, we do a lot more medium blend type.
Sure.
And
did I just strike you as a robust guy? Is that why?
Yeah, for sure, dude. Like, you know, the nice hair, the beard, the sleeve.
Thanks.
I was like, oh yeah, he needs something with a punch.
That's good.
So anyway, yeah, we have a lot of medium roasts.
Okay.
Which I've always been a medium roast guy, but now drinking as much coffee as I do, especially on the show, I'm like, I kind of like a little more flavor to it. Like the mediums haven't really hit me the way they used to. So I'm gonna go a little higher with like an 8.4.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
which
good.
is pretty good.
That's
I thought the flavor was really good. And again, you know, who knows if I'm brewing these right? I think so. So yeah, this has a 16:1 coffee, you know, to water ratio, and that's how I roast them, unless it says otherwise. And so I feel like I roasted it correctly. We'll see.
So, strong coffee, weak bourbon. That's like
yeah.
Okay, that's
and
I love
strong
that.
cigars.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to convert you.
Okay.
That's our mission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like strong cigars. I like strong coffee because I love espresso, and I love an Americano, which is
Yes,
espresso with hot water put on it. Which is always gonna be a little stronger than coffee. Like,
sure.
And maybe we'll start doing that on here. I don't know.
Do you like coffee cigars?
I like them at the beginning, and then they always usually get pretty crappy. But like a Tabak or like a Java,
Yeah.
they're okay.
Charles K likes coffee cigars.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that do.
Yeah.
So if it's like, not that I'm a big wake up and puff, but if I'm at the beach or something and I want to sit on the back or the porch and have a cigar and coffee,
Okay, I love that.
I'll do a coffee cigar with the coffee in the morning.
That's cool. Yeah.
Like, you know, something a little lighter. Usually they're pretty light. But dude, the ends of those cigars are just trash. Like once you get to the label, it's like throw it away. It just, I don't know what they do to it, but they just stink.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I'll dabble.
Sure.
I definitely like them more, you know, especially when I was managing that cigar shop. And then as I've smoked so many cigars, it's like I want something with like a better profile throughout. So
I love that, man.
like a Liga Privada is probably my go-to. Like if you think of like a Liga Privada number 9 or T52 or a Fair Flying Pig is probably my favorite. I would actually prefer a Nicaraguan over a Cuban.
Okay.
I think Cubans are good. I think they're a little overrated just because of the name. Same thing like you're saying with Pappy's. They're good, but I don't think they hold a light to a Nicaraguan cigar.
Yeah, I could sit here and talk about cigars for 3
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
This is awesome, man. I think we need to get together and have some bourbon.
Dude, we do. Yeah.
We'll broaden that.
Did you drink at the office?
No, no. I do not drink at the office. No, I tend to, you know, just sit on the back porch at my house,
For sure.
relax. After
Do you live in Raleigh?
Yeah, I live in North Hills in Raleigh.
Oh, nice.
So it's, you know, we have a little cul-de-sac street that
Okay.
we live on, so it's nice because you kind of feel a little secluded, and you know, a mile from there, you're like right at Target at North Hills,
Right.
So it gives us kind of the best of both worlds, but I enjoy it. I
That's
don't
cool.
see us living anywhere else.
Yeah. We live out in the boonies, which is pretty cool.
That's nice too.
Yeah. I like it, and you know, it's we get a mixed reaction, but not that we're in the boonies really. I mean, we're in Andrew, so I'm like 30 minutes from here. It's not like we're in the sticks.
Yeah, no, I've been to Andrew. Yeah.
But it's a cool little town. But yeah, same thing. Like I would, you know, love to sit on the back porch, have a cigar.
It's peaceful.
And now I'm gonna earn my Fridays.
Do it, man.
That's dope.
Earn the
I
Fridays.
love that.
You got 2 more days. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You know,
Yeah. Well,
that's-
thanks so much for coming on, man. This
Thanks
was
for having me.
awesome. You were as a very insightful. You're my first lender I've had on,
Interesting.
and I have your counterpart coming on in a week or two.
He's way better than me. Yeah,
He's a cool dude.
he's a good guy, man.
Yeah.
Alex is a real special guy. somebody that was at Truist with me, and the amount of growth that he has had from last year to this year, I've never seen it before.
Really?
Ever. Yeah.
He's relational too.
Oh, absolutely. You'll have a really
From
great
my
conversation
experience with him, but yeah.
You'll have a great conversation with him. We offer different perspectives, and that's why I think we work really well together.
That's cool.
So I look forward to that.
So did you, I'm sorry, I know we're trying to wrap up here, but did you guys go from, like, you guys leave Truist together and like, hey, let's go to OriginPoint? Like, did you guys talk about that, or
we
did
didn't?
it just happen to work out that way?
It really just happened to work out that way. We didn't know it at the time. He had left before me, and then I left, and I think how it worked out is we were on the training, like when you first come on, and I like look over to the panel on the side, and I see the participant list, and it said Alex Pollard, and I was like, surely that's not the Alex Pollard that I know.
Yeah.
And I called him, and he was like, yeah, it's me. I'm like, well, here we are. Like, right, here we are. So it worked out that way. I guess they were just having different side conversations with us at the same time, and we had no idea. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so it's just the two of you. I mean, not with obviously the whole OriginPoint company, but with Compass.
Yeah, Compass in the Triangle is just me and Alex.
Okay.
I'm in the Midtown office because that's where all my relationships really are.
Right.
And Alex is out here in Cary and Chapel Hill.
Okay.
And we just divide and conquer. And, you know, he's amazing to work with. Great guy. I think a lot of him. And he, you know, we are good at different things, you know.
That's cool.
Which is nice because we have a good blend of how we approach the business.
Yeah.
So
that's super cool, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah,
dude.
thank you.
This was fun. Yeah, I hope if somebody's listening and they want to get to the lending business, I don't think it's really talked about. I mean, maybe it is. I'm not in the lending business, so
maybe.
I'm in a real estate business. And, but I think you had some really good insight as to like what the lending side looks like. And obviously I can talk about cigars and bourbon all day, but we'll cut it there. But yeah, man, thanks for coming on. Great meeting you, really.
Yeah, great meeting you too. Thank you for having me on. This has been awesome, man.
Absolutely. All right. Bye, everybody.